What did we learn from New Zealand after their match? Well, in my time, it was in the small hours of the morning. I did actually set my alarm at 3 a.m. to get up and watch New Zealand. I also went for a 4-hour bike ride through the Peak District yesterday, and my body was broken, so I kind of half woke up and then thought, do you know what? I'll watch it later. Yes, which I have now done. And well done to New Zealand on a comfortable 47 points to 5 win in San Diego. Interesting to see the game out there. And I thought I would just do a video on what we learned, or certainly from my perspective, what I learned about New Zealand and how it bodes for them with the Rugby Championship just around the corner. And that is very much firmly in my mind. I fully expect New Zealand to beat Argentina in the 2 test matches on New Zealand soil. Although Argentina are always an unknown quantity, they can bring it on any given day. I'm got firmly fixed in my mind how are New Zealand progressing to prepare for that game in Johannesburg at Ellis Park at the end of August and a week later in Cape Town. I will be there for those 2 games, so I've got a vested interest in it there. But let's get into it. Your thoughts down below then. What were your takeaways from that game for the All Blacks? Where do you think they're at? What are the selection dilemmas that Scott Robertson has got? And how do you assess his performance 3 games in? I think you can only assess it as fairly positively. So what did we learn? Well, firstly, here's a broad one. Let's talk about the actual event itself. It was at the Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. They have got a Major League Rugby side there. The locals turned out. There was clearly an international audience. You cut to the crowd, there was a load of people in Springbok jerseys. I saw some England shirts as well. So there was a lot of just general rugby fans. 33,000 of them managed to go, which is a brilliant effort. And the teams put on a spectacle. New Zealand, obviously, more so with the 47 points and 7 tries scored. I think one thing that's got to happen before 2031 is that the broadcasters that put on the cameramen and sound technicians and all of that, they are incredible at sport. NFL has the best broadcast quality and variety of any sport in the world probably, but they don't quite understand rugby fully yet. So you've got a lot of wide shots, camera one, camera one, camera one. So I used to work for BT Sport, and I remember when the Premiership games got taken to America. There was a game in Chicago and there was a game in Philadelphia, New York, and Philadelphia. And yeah, the local directors, cameraman and stuff don't really understand the game, so they don't feel when it's right to go close in to a ruck and then zoom back out on the big shot. NFL, you tend to have just the one wide shot, so you get a lot of that in rugby. So anyway, that's an inside baseball, maybe too technical a point to make. Let me move on with the actual rugby. I'll tell you, the one thing I'd say that I've learned is that Scott Robertson has got a really strong level of cohesion for such a short time in charge. When you look at this New Zealand team play, you do not think they're playing under a new coach with new systems, a new style. He's got them very quickly on the same page. And that was even evident when there was quite a lot of new faces, new to the All Black setup. 6 debutants, wasn't it, involved in this one? New combinations, and it just looked like they've been playing together a lot longer than they have. Comfortable win, never in doubt, and I think that bodes well. There's a kind of identity building for New Zealand. They're good in the set piece, good tight, belligerent, tough pack. Amazing players like Ardie Savia obviously are always going to come to the fore, but then they play with a kind of looseness and a tempo that I really think could be dangerous. Broken field, kick poorly to New Zealand that they can absolutely rip you to shreds, as we saw. Another lesson we learnt, they've got some good young players coming through. None more so than Billy Proctor. How impressive was he at 13? Tosi and Satiti Hotham, I thought, were in particular very good off the bench. But Billy Proctor, he's the big takeaway from this game. How classy did he look at 13? It was... Yeah, well, he made just short of 100 metres carrying the ball in his 10 runs, beat 8 defenders, 3 clean line breaks and a try. Could not have asked any more from this guy, and he has given Scott Robertson serious food for thought in the centre. Barrett and Ioane, outstanding rugby players. Combination-wise, there's always been a little bit of a question mark. Are you putting square pegs in round holes, particularly with the 2 of them together? And it makes you wonder, what could Barrett Proctor as a combination look like? and Ioane potentially accommodated elsewhere. It's one to watch. I think at the very least, because I think it's fair to say as well, Anton Linnett-Brown put in a really good shift. He runs so hard with the ball, doesn't he? He's like violent the way he runs. I love it. And I thought the two of them together as a combination looked great. And at the very least, what's brilliant for New Zealand is Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. They have company and they have pressure, and they are going to have to play on the top of their game. Otherwise, there are players waiting to come in. That's a great place to be. And when I compare the situation in the centre there with my country, England, we've got issues. If Ollie Lawrence goes down injured, I don't know what England do. New Zealand have got two class players ready to go on the sidelines. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Razor does against Argentina. What would you do? There's going to be plenty of time for this conversation over the next couple of weeks. That is going to be one of the talking points, isn't it? Another thing we learned, Caleb Clark's good at rugby. Back in the All Black starting jersey again. And again, another player who has given Scott Robertson some food for thought. Carried hard, beat defenders, broke tackles. And yeah, the line breaks is the thing for me. A big unit, big strong boy. And he used it in this game against what is always a very physical Fijian team. And I mean, I actually, thinking back on the test matches, I mean, again, New Zealand just got crazy talent. Telea is world class. And Sevu Reece was great. Caleb Clark offers a little something different, doesn't he? And I watched him play, and at the very least, it started to make me think, yeah, okay, the fact you've got Beauden Barrett and you've also got Geordie Barrett on the field and you've got DMAC in your team means you can have a 6-2 split. But when you have a 6-2 split, you don't have the impact of a guy like Caleb Clark, who, when the field does get broken or when you just need someone to punch a hole, he can do that job. So, I don't know. The versatility of the All Black backs means that you can have a 6-2 split. I was watching Caleb Clark going, should you have a 6-2 split? Interesting. What else have we learned? We learned that, DMAC. I thought that was probably his best performance so far. Hard to judge, isn't it? Because they were clearly the better team than Fiji. Not perfect from DMAC, but I think he's growing into that role as the starting All Black 10, and an identity is forming around him, particularly when the game gets broken. And we know this about him from playing fullback enough and from the times he has played and Super Rugby and whatnot. In broken field, there is no one more dangerous than Damen McKenzie. He was superb in that area, and with a really good, intelligent kicking game, if they can win the kicking battle, they can really exploit that with DMAC at 10. On the kicking battle, that's the area that he can take it and elevate it even more. Just a little bit more of that control, some of those basic nuts and bolts, controlling a game plan. Sometimes he was kicking kind of not as intelligently or not as effectively as you would like, but overall, I'm impressed with DMAC, and New Zealand. It does add another little dimension to their play when he's getting his hand on the ball as often as he is. And there was a couple of magic moments as well when I think the first Caleb Clark try came from DMAC, just a little bit of magic. What else have we learned? New Zealand scrum halves have really bad luck. Cam Roygaard injured. Finlay Christie came in. Ratima did brilliantly against England, along with Beauden Barrett, changed the game. So got a start against Fiji. Looked really good. Got injured. It'll probably end up being Finlay Christie again for the Rugby Championship, won't it? Off after 36 minutes with a try to his name. A maiden try in international rugby and looking really good. I've no idea how serious the injury is. I hope not that much, but there's plenty of positives to take out of the 36 minutes he did play. Hopefully, he'll be back playing again very soon. And what else would I say about New Zealand? Ardie Savia is very good at rugby. Breaking news. He's so good. He's just awesome. I thought that it was probably between Ardie Savia again and Billy Proctor for man of the match. Is it right New Zealand don't do man of the match? That's what someone said in the comments last week. If you were giving one out, I'd probably give it to Billy Proctor. But Ardie was absolutely immense as well. Lots of positives. It's Fiji who were massively competitive at the Rugby World Cup, pushed England all the way in that quarter-final, managed to get some good wins in the pool stages, and New Zealand just absolutely walloped them, wiped the floor with them. But then Fiji, without some of their big names, Fiji, when it's not a Rugby World Cup, it's a very different proposition, isn't it? They're one of those teams that can blow hot and cold, and when they want to, they can go. But even if they wanted to today, New Zealand didn't let them. They're looking very good. Bring on the Rugby Championship. And bring on more videos on the channel. We've got South Africa against Portugal later. We've got Japan v Italy tomorrow morning. I'll set my alarm for that one. Sorry I wasn't there at 4 in the morning for this one, but I'm here now. That's my thoughts. Yours in the comments down below. Hit subscribe. See you on the next video.